handle the truth.
What's good, y'all? My name is Billington Jean. You logged in with Off Topic Truth.
This is Billy. Billy's sitting here like, yo, it's really
AD, that was a rehearsal practice.
All right, let's restart that one. What's good, y'all? My name is Billington Jean, and you tuned in with Off Topic Truth. Hashtag all truth, no facts.
All truth, no facts.
All truth, no facts.
All truth, no facts.
All truth, no facts, baby.
I'm proud to present my first series titled Cry Call Commission, Processing the Mind of Black Men, about the recent killings of unarmed black men and current injustices in America. And today we got some strong black men speaking with us today. I'm going to let them go around and introduce themselves.
How's it going, y'all? My name is 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤. I'm a recent graduate from the University of Florida. Go Gators. But I'm also an incoming graduate student at Georgia Institute of Technology, and I'll be studying city and regional planning with a specialization in housing and community development. So I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I'm so excited to be here with you brothers today.
How's it going, everybody? My name is 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤. I am a PhD student at the University of Florida studying computer science, originally from Miami, Florida. 305, one good time.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Evan Curry, and I am a graduate student at the University of South Florida studying interdisciplinary medical sciences. I also am a recent grad from the University of Florida, where I majored in public health education with the specialization in community health. And I am from the one, the only Broward County, you know what I'm saying?
What's up? It's your boy Milton Baker Jr. I graduated from the University of Florida. I have my own tree service and lawn service business. I also have something called Artists Only. It's a platform for local artists. So you can follow me on IG, Facebook, or YouTube. It's like pretty dope content, so check it out.
My name is Jethro Decimus. I am so excited to be here. I am a recording artist. I am a music producer, a musician. I am an entrepreneur. I am a community developer. You guys can check out my new single that just came out early this year. Les enfants sont blessés, the children are wounded. It's on all digital platforms. You can follow me at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's Decimus Jethro. Once again, I'm so excited to be here to talk about, our pain, our sorrow, what we've been dealing with as black men living in America, experiencing social injustice. I'm so excited to just unpack all this, and sharing it with all my brothers here with me.
What's up, everyone? My name is Stanley Celestin. I'm originally from Haiti, grew up in Miami. I attended the University of Florida, studied computer engineering. Now I'm at Cornell University doing a PhD in computer science. If you're interested in getting in contact with me, just email me at stanleycelestin1@gmail.com or look me up by putting my name, Stanley Celestin, and Cornell. You'll get my Cornell website.
Yeah, so like I said before, my name is Billington Jean. I'm a follower of Christ, a shepherd, a bridge, an advocate, and a man who's passionate about truth and injustice. So we're gonna dive right in, and you know what? Let's let 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤 take off with this. We're gonna go around just processing, but we'll let 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤 start off first. What do you guys think about the recent killings of unarmed black men?
Yeah, so I think from Ahmad, just seeing it on your device or like seeing it on your computer, the fact that like we're in this day and age where like that's like I don't like that it's a norm or like that's a thing. there's a power in, like we have technology to show things that we can prove as evidence. But at the same time, it's just very gruesome to see like, that is someone who looks like me fall to the ground, running after running. So I think from there, my immediate response was just kind of to just like, oh no, I didn't mean to see that. Like, when you see something that you didn't mean to see. So it was just like shocking. My immediate response was to turn off and just like ignore the issue, ignore that it actually happened, because it's like, oh my gosh, this is like airing live.
Yeah, I was gonna going off of that. I think I've upon the news, like when I heard about everything, the thing that really got me is the fact that we found out like months after he actually was shot, which is mind-boggling to me. But when I received the news, at first I was kind of confused. I kept like everyone was sharing this pictures, graduation pictures. So it was around graduation season. It's like, okay, cool, another black man graduated. So I was getting excited. I wasn't reading, and I just kept seeing multiple people sharing it on their stories. And so then I decided to click the picture, and then it brought me to a video. And then that's when I like saw this whole entire thing go down. And I'm being honest, I felt extremely powerless in it because I was like, the ordinary actions of a black man have become a threat to people in society, which is just like I can't fathom that. Like the gag is I love to run. Like me and Nody work out all the time. We do stadiums, we run around Gainesville all the time. And like on any given day, that could have been me. And so having to comprehend and really like wrap my mind around the fact that like, hey, like this isn't just like a far-fetched thing. This is reality. This could happen to you. Really left me feeling numb. Really left me feeling like I don't know what to do.
Black men, we're in a unique situation where we can't call the police if we need help, because we can be a victim by calling the police. And we can just be walking down the road and we're looked at as a suspect, and a civilian take the law in their own hands and we end up dying. So what I'm saying is we're kind of getting pressured from both sides, like as far as the civilian go and as far as the police go. So we're like in a position of what do we do? Who do we call?
So I mean, to be honest, when I first got it, when I first got the news, I just shut it down. I was like, I mean, I can't. I just can't right now. It's like, I mean, I knew about it. I mean, with the first one, when I first saw Ahmaud Arbery, like the picture kept surfacing up, and I mean, I'm not too active on social media as I should be, so I didn't really understand it. When I finally did understand it and watched the video, I mean, a little bit into the video, I was like, nah, not right now. No, I can't process this right now. But I mean, like even going back to what Stanley was saying, like what technology did was reveal to us what's already going on. Like this stuff has been happening. Witnessing or seeing this killing was nothing new. But I mean, even processing it a little bit more so when I after watching it watching the entire thing, and after seeing the killing, the murder, like I got this vision, this image of like this bandage over a wound, like a affected wound, and under this wound, like as you take off the bandage, it smells. It has like little maggots and stuff running around it. And so imagine taking off this wound, this bandage, and anyone's immediate reaction, or at least for me, it would be to like kind of turn my face away. Like, so yeah, that's what I would compare for me as a black man, like who just kind of went numb seeing all of this. Like I just turned my face away. Like, so the wound, I mean, the community is affected. Law enforcement is affected. America is affected. I mean, being black in America, or better yet, being black in this world.
I would say black in the world.
Back in the world.
You be having the before vacation racism in Brazil.
Actually, yes. So all these effects and killings and that you're seeing is all symptoms to a broken system. Nody got the shirt on right now. Shout out to Projects for Haiti.
So I think you said the analogy of you using like the Band-Aid. I think about like for Black people, we don't get not right now a lot. Like we don't get that opportunity to be like, oh, not right now. Mm-hmm. But I think because we're placed in a position where if we look at our white counterparts, they get, oh, I can say not right now. But for the Black experience, it's like, yo, this is literally the cry of like so many generations being revealed, because like Stanley said, technology can now reveal it, but like it's not like a not right now. It's literally in your own communities when you see police brutality, when you feel microaggressions. Those are all like the thing that we're covering the Band-Aid. But in a if I was a white person, because of the society and the system setup, I can have a lot of not right now moments because I can literally shut it out and I can literally shut it down because it doesn't matter to me. I don't have to think about another person's experience. I don't have to think about what that's like. I sometimes look at people like in high school, like some of my white friends would do some crazy stuff and they always would be like, yo, why are you not joining in? Why are you not doing this? I'm like, bro, I can do anything and go to jail simply because I'm Black. And for a lot of people, a lot of white people, it doesn't click because they have that reality of like, yo, I can shut it down. And I think for us, for me, growing up, I'm 22. But the first time that I was just like, yo, this is absolutely like crazy and it's real, is I remember the summer of the Treyvonmartin case. And I remember, because I'm in Orlando, so it's not too far, Sanford was not too far away from there. And I remember how I felt. And I was telling my friends, there's two cases in my crazy. One was the Casey Anthony trial, and the second one was Treyvonmartin. And they both happened near to like where I was living. And I remember just the reality, like you're just like, yo, like these people aren't arrested and they got away with it. And that reality of like, yo, I can be walking around. I remember my mom, she didn't let me wear a hoodie, or she didn't want me to wear hats around the place. She would tell me, she's like, do not do that. I just like wear a do-rag, wear it around. She's like, do not do that, because actually you can see Treyvonmartin didn't get the justice that he deserves. So that reality was just real. So I think that not right now moment, or like, let me put that off, it's so real for people who don't live in the Black experience. And it's so crazy. And it can be a numbing and very exhausting like thing to just like live by every day. So when I see on the news, I'm like, yo, another Black man died for just normal things, bro. Like normal things that he's done. Like things that I would like, it's just crazy. Yeah, you know what I mean?
So Arizona. And I think what hurts me too is when people try to dig into the facts. Yeah. And that's why I'm going with this. All truth, no facts. Like they want facts. Well, what's the real story? What was he wearing? Why was he jogging at night?
They try to criminalize him, so it don't seem that bad.
Mm-hmm. He was suspended from school.
Selling drugs, but still ain't have his day in court. Mm-hmm. Like no matter they sell drugs. Mm-hmm. You gotta have his day in court. You can't kill the man right there.
Exactly. Like he was suspended from school, and every image they portray of this man, as they find images of him smoking. Yeah. I mean, I know a ton of white kids that smoke. Listen, they do. I know a ton of my white brothers that do all types of drugs, acids and all that stuff. Yes. And like they're in all types of counseling programs. Like that really angered me. Yeah. But when they portrayed Zimmerman, everything was in a suit. Those coons always get away. Like we can fight facts of facts. Like, oh yeah, he was suspended from school. He probably was suspended and he got in a fight, or he played football, so he was aggressive. But an innocent teenager was shot by a grown man. Yeah. And he had orders from a cop to say, like, stop. But he's off signing Skittles.
That's interesting. Knowing you was mentioning stories like the ones that stick to you more. I think the one that sticks to me the most is the one in the park with the white lady and
Central Park.
yeah. What's her name?
Cooper.
Oh, word.
Is it Amber Cooper?
No, you.
That's cool.
The one in New York, Central Park?
Yeah. I was
You see the crazy? You see the madness? Like we just. Which one you talking about? You talking about bro who? Oh no, you talking about?
So I think I like to look at it from a logical perspective, and I think that story just speaks volumes because I talked to Gene about this. One, this guy comes from what we socially would say a higher class. He went to Harvard. He's doing well. He has a pretty good job. He's pretty well spoken. So you can't say like he got a background that's bad. His language was soft, right? So he wasn't even aggressive verbally. So she could even say like the way he was saying things were kind of like a threat. And then you got a video on top of it just to show her how she's like kind of like acting up. Videos, you know, like you said, they bring up counter arguments and you know, you let them say like their counter arguments. But in this case, the video just kind of tells you the whole story. Like clearly one person is not supposed to be doing something and the other person instructing them still happens to be black. And because of that, that person feels like they don't have a need to listen to him. And he was just trying to make sure he could do his normal things there, which is watching birds and feeding them.
Yeah.
So by having the dog there, he can't do that. And he's just trying to enjoy the park for what it is. But she felt like she had some Super Saiyan powers.
Privilege powers.
That power gotta be Super Saiyan.
Yeah, super privilege.
I feel like that's the video that I bring to people and say like, help me process what's going on here. What's your counter argument? You feel me?
Yeah.
Like if you haven't seen that video, you should go watch it. And if you understand where we're coming from, then it'll make sense. And if you don't agree with where we're coming from, then help me understand that video. Like help me understand what could have like made her feel that way. I know she's giving her apologies, but obviously people do that just because of like the public backlash, right?
Yeah.
So like help me explain the like what made her do that, like, you know?
She knows she was being recorded.
She was being recorded.
She knows
Oh my gosh.
It's like,
If you know you're being recorded, you probably had to be Super Saiyan for real. You like that recording is not gonna mean anything.
No, don't stop me.
It's not gonna stop me from what I'm trying to do right here.
Exactly.
And they're not gonna believe you. And like either I'm gonna get away with it, or something's gonna happen to him that he's not gonna like.
So either way, she thought she would win.
yeah.
Which is wild, because like even when you like they interviewed him afterwards, we were watching him speak. It was like he was like, I don't want to condemn her actions. I don't want to really say that. Like even how he spoke about the situation, you like this man just has grace. And
graceful.
like, and you just like, well, what do you want to do with this?
Yeah, like tell me what happened. What was the character flaw with him? What did he do wrong? At least that's what I that's the video I want to present to anyone and everyone. Like help me understand like why people aren't depraved. Like when you say there's no racism or you say there's no like biases in our society, help explain that video without like using the context of racism or bias or anything. You can't.
I think the crazy thing is that this isn't like that isn't a foreign experience. Like that the experience is not extraterrestrial. It's literally like common to all of us. Like that has happened to me. It's happened. I'm sure it's happened to many of you all in this room right now. And the thing that's sad about it is like that is ingrained. Unfortunately, like it's ingrained in the experience of a black man growing up in America. Like I remember being a child driving down my street in my neighborhood and like me literally on my bike and a police officer literally pulling me over and accusing me of breaking into people's houses without even doesn't know me, didn't talk to me at all, just saw me and said, "You have been breaking into someone's house. Take me to your parents." Like, and it's experiences like that condition you to like to have fear, like condition you to be this way. You know what I mean? Like it's not these aren't far fetched experiences. Like I think like growing up, and I've always been like I feel like I've been preaching this so long for so many different times, and like growing up, people always told me that I was overreacting like to these experiences. People would say like, "Oh, Kevin, like you're being extra," you know, da 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 da. But the reality is like I wasn't. Like I was sharing experiences that I had. And I just feel like it's so frustrating and unfortunate that has to be the experience of so many black men, that it isn't something that's just on a screen or isn't just something that we hear on Twitter, but it's something that I experienced yesterday and the day before, last year, last month, and I'm probably gonna experience it again.
Remember, like whenever I attended UF, you used to get these text alerts, and they used to give you a description of the suspect. It'll be like black male, blue shirt, and 6'5", and and I don't fit the description at all, but I might be wearing a blue shirt that day. So what's funny is, like, I just try to help him leave campus because I don't want to be mistaken as the person.
Bro, I didn't have a blue shirt on. Let me go. I know I ain't do it. Let me go.
There is a black male,
5'10".
I gotta go. Probably 6 foot. Walking
Yeah.
around.
Black male,
I'm
honey,
like,
eastbound.
I'm wearing a black shirt. Like, let me get home. Like,
And that stuff is like, but you shouldn't have to do that.
yeah.
But like, I gotta.
Yeah, when you click stop me, you click the profile, you like, wait, just stay inside.
And a black male heading eastbound. Black shirt. Black shirt.
Let's go westbound real quick.
Boy dreads. Boy, you got dreads.
We used to be like, like whenever it was a white person, black people used to be like,
Yes.
Like, a sigh of relief. But it's a shame that you gotta think that way. Like, we're conditioned to think that way, and we laughing about it, but it's really not funny.
That's what I was gonna
Other
say.
people don't have to
It's
do that. You
it's
gotta
the
do
symptoms,
that.
man.
Like,
It's the symptoms,
Now we're
man.
laughing about it, but it's like, no, like, this is real.
I haven't had an experience like you did ever, but I think one of my only or most significant and memorable experience with like race. So I was like interning and I was living with a couple interns in a house, and it was like 3 guys, and then me as a 4th guy, and then a girl, right? So we, it was co-ed. So we were the only interns. So we ended up like hanging out like downtown in the area we was in a lot, and then one day I decided cut my hair so I can get my waist back. So I was just like, we share the same common space, so I cut my hair, I put the do-rag on to style my hair, right? Right?
With you,
So then it was Saturday morning. I got my do-rag on. She see me. She's like, "Whoa, you should wear that when we go out." So
no way.
she was like, "You should wear it when we go out, because like people like not gonna really mess with us." What? I'm like, first off, it's 4 guys already. If they were gonna mess with us, they were gonna mess with us, right? So if that's not enough protection, and I gotta wear a do-rag, and that's gonna make you feel more safe, then you gotta also think about the fact that if you feel more safe, then that means you also see it as a threat.
Yeah.
Someone has to be more scared.
Peace, right? So that means I might be seen more aggressive.
Yeah.
It's like now you have this piece of the puzzle. Okay, I could use it as a defense, but naturally, it's a threat.
You're on the other side.
So on the other side,
Since I'm on the side, she want me to use it.
Defense.
So I was like,
Condition.
and then I tried to ask, her and like when my roommates around there, like hearing, I was just like, why is it that like me wearing a do-rag is like makes you feel that way? And like her answers were along the line of like, it's just kind of like how it was, like how she's seen it growing up. Like people wore it to be cool, to do X, Y, and Z. But the truth is, just because something correlates don't mean it's the cause, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of black guys wear do-rags because that's how we style our hair. Mm-hmm. It so happens to be there's black guys that might be doing crimes, but it's not the cause of the crime. Right. The do-rag is just a cultural thing for our hair. So you're going to see people doing crimes in the black community with do-rags, but the do-rag is not, the original use of it is not to make you look like harder or more intimidating. It's really just to style your hair, get your waves right.
To be honest, I think a lot of people don't actually even know why do-rags exist.
Oh wait, actually though, I wore it this with my roommates this year. My roommates was like, "Wait, why you wear that?" Like they didn't know why I wore a do-rag, which was an honest question, right? Yeah. They were just like, one of them was just like, because I wear it on my way to school or like on like in the mornings. Mm-hmm. So they asked me why I wear it. So no, they're not black. Yeah. I'm the only black person in my current roommate situation. But they're cool though. They were just asking because some people don't know why people wear do-rags. If you legit don't know why, then that means you will only perceive it in some other way, right?
So, I kind of need help processing this. The school shooting that took place at Stoneman Douglas, right? Stoneman Douglas.
In Broward.
In Broward County.
Yeah.
Little white boy. He lived, right?
He's
still alive, right?
He's still alive, right? He got his day in court, right?
That made me so angry. Like, it was just, it fueled something in me. That's not like I wish death upon him, but it was, he shot students, innocent students, peers. He shot coaches, he shot professors, and he lived. He got his day in court. They, now we're getting to learn a little bit about his background, some of the issues that he had growing up. It's almost like people are advocating for him. And then I also thought about another experience of, forget the white kid's name that walked into the church and let loose.
Nine people.
Yeah, and killed black church members. And I mean, apparently they took him to Burger King.
Yeah. Really?
Yes, they did.
Wait, did you know that?
They did, yeah.
He was hungry after they got him, so he
You killed 9 people.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a Whopper?
Not a Big Mac.
That is crazy, dog. Like,
Your way.
Got a 4 for 4.
Have your way.
It's like, so from a black Christian's perspective, I say, like, here's where I'm like at wrestling. I say, Jesus, you died for our sins, and through you we can be forgiven, and he gets a chance to repent, and he gets a chance to still find life even if he's locked up. And then it's like, it's this boiling anger that says, but if that were me, if that were Stanley, if that were Jethro, if that were Milton, if that were Evan, if that was Rubens, if that was Gene, if that was Nodi, if that was Cam, my little brother, if that was Andrews, my little brother, if that was Mark Kinley, my little brother, if that was Omar, my little brother, they would have died.
yeah.
And it's like, you said something earlier, Milton, like, he gets his day in court. Like, how many of us, like, just won't ever get that day, won't ever get to tell our side of the story? Like, when Ahmad got killed and he was running, like, he went out with such a fight. Like, one thing I looked at that video, like, I said, oh my God, like, bro went out, he wasn't going out like no punk. Like, he was literally fighting back, fighting for his life. And Ahmad won't get his day. Treyvonmartin won't get his day. Many other black men won't get their day. So when y'all process some of those events, like these kids, like these white kids, when they commit a crime, like you hear all sort of like he was taking counseling, his parents, he was abused as a child, blah blah blah. But when you hear the black kids' stories, like he was aggressive, he was splintered from school,
Thugs.
he was thug, he was a hoodlum, he was like. And even being Christian, it's like, you got that constant wrestle, like, I gotta give grace because I follow Christ, and Christ gave me grace, but, like, it's this constant tension, like, this constant, and what do you guys think about that?
I think one of the crazy things that, like, you didn't even go in on, but it's the fact that, like, people like Nicholas Cruz who murdered people at Stoneman Douglas, and people like Ahmaud Arbery who was running. This person was a convicted murderer. Like, it wasn't like no one had to infer anything. Like, we knew for a fact that he killed people, and he lived. Ahmaud was running, and you had to do tons of inferences. You weren't sure of anything, and he died. And so I think, like, even in that makes me more angry, like, because of the fact that we know for a fact this person is a criminal. This person, by the law, is a criminal. This person, we don't know, by the law, is a criminal. the person who is a criminal lives, but the person who's not a criminal dies.
So it almost sounds like you're saying like by the color of our skin, we already have an indictment. Like
Yeah.
we're already criminals. We are guilty until proven innocent versus innocent until proven guilty. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I mean, like, it just shows you, like, I mean, Nicholas Cruz, right? That's his name. He was treated like the way we've agreed to treat people in our society.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think he should have been treated any worse than, like, he should have been treated the way he was treated. And it just shows you the disparity between how people are treated. So, like, you can compare levels of danger, right? So someone shooting a school shooting, like, a school shooter is more dangerous, I think, to me than someone, like, forging a signature. Right? So, like, I don't know what the explanation is for the difference in the way people are apprehended if it's a crime. In Ahmad's case, he wasn't doing a crime, so he didn't need a day in court. They needed a day in court, but he doesn't get to be on the witness stand or be the victim. And well, he is the victim, but he doesn't get to speak as the victim in the case.
I like what you said of, like, I think as a believer, like, I don't wish that Nicholas Cruz was treated, like, worse. Like, I don't wish that they literally, like, killed him on the spot. Like, I'm not gonna wish it upon him. But I think, like, the true disparity, like, my desire, what I cry for, like, what I want is for Black people who experience injustice to be brought up to that same exact level. Like, it's absolutely not fair that Nicholas Cruz was taken out of the school in handcuffs, put in the back of the police car gently, when other people were just shot on spot.
It's a fundamental, like, misalignment, because we already assume, like, even if someone did something wrong, that there's a certain way they should be treated, right? Which is why, like, prisoners still have, like, access to food, healthcare, and all these things that we say is, like, a right to human life. So trying to use, like, their background to explain why they were treated a certain way is kind of like opposite of the whole point of being treated, like, fairly. You know, you get to go to court, you get to be in a situation where you can defend yourself if it was true or not true, you know, and be found guilty or innocent. You know, like, the whole premise of that is, like, getting that opportunity, and we simply just don't get that opportunity. And that's a whole other debate too. We could talk about, like, people that do get an opportunity to go to court, and there's still disparities there too.
Oh yeah. There's no justice when you go to court.
I think at every level, like, we have issues. And
then when you go to prison or jail, you don't really get rehabilitated.
I think, there's always, like, the consideration of, like, what's the Christian response, and sometimes, like, I had to wrestle with this with the Lord too, because I was like, God, like, why do I always have to think about, like, sometimes I'm like, why do I always have to think about what would Jesus do when my brother gets shot? You know, why do I always have to think about that? But Jesus, like, and I remember Evan told me this one time, like, he, like, the Bible tells us that Jesus, like, he's not a high priest, or he's not, like, a friend or a savior who doesn't empathize with our weaknesses or, like, our pain or grief. But, like, in everything, like, Jesus too was a brown Middle Eastern man who was killed. Like, and it wasn't his, like, he didn't do anything wrong. And I think about this, and I think about when I come to church with white brothers and sisters, and you hear the narrative of, like, just preach the gospel, bro. Just preach the gospel. I'm like, well, what is this? Because what is justice if you are the same voices that try to give a justification of a background when I do something, it's already, like, I literally remember one of my childhood friends growing up. They got in some situation with the police one time, and they were all in the car, and one of the people in the car just, like, started shooting at the police, like, as they're in the car. For whatever reason, I just remember seeing their faces on the news, thinking, like, dang, bro, like, the thought of seeing, like, yo, like, that's my friend who I grew up with. Oh my gosh, like, he's locked up, like, he's getting locked up. And No, he's a black male too. So I grew up in a black community, pretty much Pine Hills, Orlando. But yeah. So but like I read through the comments, and it was like, look at this thug. I mean, they already look like thugs. Like you're looking at these comments, like, oh, they already look like thugs. Look at these thugs. How could you like not expect them to do stuff like this? And I'm reading these, and I'm like, bro, a white kid does this, and it's like, of course, oh, this is bad, but he also was abused as a child. Like that dichotomy is just frustrating. And a lot of people in the church are doing these exact things. Yeah. And you're doing it in the exact way because all you say is just preach the gospel. The gospel includes justice because it talks about Jesus, who is like, one of the funniest things is like, I was like, they were saying like, I don't think white people really realize that they serve a savior who actually wasn't white.
I was about to say, notice, so do you think that, are you saying that Jesus is not white?
If you look historically, there's literally implications pointing to the fact that Jesus, this is a European figure of like how, through time. And I think there's always a huge discussion. And this is something where I personally am trying to like dig deeper into, what does that connect lie within like me being a Christian and also like seeing these things and my people being really hurt by this, and also the uses of Christianity to oppress or to even like, it's like it's a truth and it's a reality. And for me, it's like, dang, Jesus, like you actually you lived this and you felt this. Yet it's not clicking for people that like Jesus is justice. Like everything that he did and everything he fought for was justice. The idea that whenever something's not right, like that's an issue and it bothers me. And Jesus literally fought after that. So I think coming to church, or even being in church, whatever context, people would be like, let's not talk about Black Lives Matter. Let's not talk about All Lives Matter. Let's talk about the gospel. And I'm like, yes, the gospel is powerful, but how do you engage people and fully like, there's people who literally don't get it because all they can see is you putting this wall of this massive saying, let's preach the gospel. Well, let's dig into the gospel and understand like, man, there's people, like Jesus met people where they were. And if this was people who were seeking justice, or if it was people who were literally crying out about like, this isn't fair, the people around him, he literally laid himself down to make things right. So I it's just a crazy thing because I thought about comments on Facebook where I try to ignore, but like in those same ways, in one form or another, like my white brother and my white sister in the church is doing the same exact thing. And like you saying, oh, let's just preach the gospel, it's almost like you saying, oh, look at this thug, like in some form or manner, because it feels like you're just pushing me aside.
They might be saying that they don't really know the gospel.
That's what I was gonna touch. I strongly believe
the gospel is superficial here in America. It's not
American religion.
It's not like I'm living this thing out. To me, it's nominal. It's just like, I'm a Christian, just associate with Christianity. So to me, it's superficial.
Because like the gospel is about like, if I have 4 pairs of shoes and one of my like neighbors doesn't have pairs of shoes, I give him one. Right, so if there's people in society that's not being treated in a certain way, so that means you getting more. So in that situation, you should try to like bring equality, right? So that's what that's about, right? You have more, and you have love in your heart that compels you to help your neighbor.
How did you get more?
At the base, it's like if like your kids go to a school where it's hella books, like. And other kids go to a school where there's no books at all, or like the books aren't in any good conditions, or they're old, or they lack access. So you actually consciously are aware that some people just literally have a different experience.
Right.
So nothing about them is contributing to that fact. Like it's just like the schools are not good. So in that sense, you can like think about how can I help and be generous to help in the schools, right? So I think people don't really understand like the gospel well.
Right.
Just like I think people don't understand like why people riot. People see riots as just like a bad thing, right? So if I told Gene this before too, I just feel like our social contract is broken. This is my little speech real quick. Our social contract is broken. So I'm gonna just give y'all a little bit of government for a snippet. So government exists because people have passions and desires that we cannot control individually, right? So we create a social contract. That means we say we're gonna create this entity called the government
so that as a group we can live in a like civil manner. So that means people that are aggressive or take out their desires in a way that's not with the best interest of society, they go to jail, they go to prison, X, Y, and Z, right? So it's funny because like the founders of this country based like the Constitution and the theories that we kind of follow today on the fact of this like social contract, right? And in this social contract theory, you also have the fact that if the social contract is broken, you know, like these theoreticians said back then, if the social contract is broken, you have to overthrow the government. So that means like if I made a contract with you and it's not like what we agreed to, I'm not gonna like go to you and like say, hey, can you like start following the contract? No, you just have to just break it. And like it's already broken, but you have to like force like the person to agree, like to do what they agreed to. So we have two ways we could go about doing that. One is like asking. Obviously, there's never been a case where a bully had like listened to someone they were bullying because like they felt bad for them.
Hey,
usually the bully got slapped back, or that bully got punched in the face, and he's like, wait, that kid I don't want to mess with. I'm gonna go mess with someone else, right? So in the same way, it's like as a Christian, it's hard because we want to just do peace. We want to be peaceful, but in theory, peace doesn't just work like as a complete like. It's not a complete answer. You know, when we say just do like peacefully say stuff, peacefully ask for things, that's not a complete answer. And like if you look at history, historically, when huge changes happened, people died, or like those huge things that. One being bonded. 1804.
You want to give a little history lesson?
No, man, it's like people who argue and say like, oh, you shouldn't do that. It's not peaceful. Da 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 da. They just don't know necessarily the history or the theories that people are living by, right? At least the ideologies that were founded on. So people are rioting, and now we're seeing everyone react because they're like, wait, we're not just rioting, we're actually rioting. Like it's serious this time, and yeah, like it's like we're actually like taking this serious. So I think like I don't want anything to be like. I don't want anyone to die, but the reality is, like, we can't ignore the fact that history has shown change happened when things kind of got a little crazy.
I'm reminded of a verse in Matthew that says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they should be called sons and daughters of God." Correct? Yeah. Hopefully, I quote it.
Sermon on the Mount.
The Sermon on the Mount. Yeah. So, what if people think peace just comes? What if the rioting, the uproar, was actually the peacemakers that were at hand? Because we are rioting essentially to have peace. We're not rioting to steal. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like there might be people that's doing it and
I mean,
opportunities.
There's a lot of other ethnicities who are taking advantage of the riot.
And also, there is a difference between those three words, like protest, riot, and looting.
So I'll just jumble into one.
Yeah, looting is just I seen that, I want it, and I'm gonna cop it. Like a riot is like I'm gonna break it, I'm gonna do this. A protest could just be like
a march.
In all cases, except for looting, could be healthy. But I have.
Well, sometimes looting, if we go back to the contract, it's like I give up some of my desires for the betterment of everybody, and the government takes some of that power for the betterment of everybody.
Fist in the air.
You know, so but if that's broken, then like the law says, you know what, this is a store, you know, I'm gonna resist my like animal urge or this and that just to go and get what I want because that's not the laws we've agreed to. But if you're not following the laws we agreed to, but you expect me to not get these J's, that's my problem.
But you was about to say something?
I'm not saying it's okay.
I want you to
Yeah.
Go ahead, Black man.
I was gonna say one of my
doctor.
things that's really irking me in the midst of all of this is that people who find the need, like they feel obligated to go and talk about how these protests and how looting and how rioting is not helping, but like refuse, like that's the only thing they speak about. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's the only thing they speak about. They don't talk about the fact that black people are being murdered. They don't talk about the fact that black people are being killed. They just talk about the fact that, hey, you shouldn't be stealing right now. And they want you to say, like, come on, let's be peaceful about this. Like, and they share their one exhausted MLK quote that everyone has at one time. But the gag is that, like, and I think I like the point that you're saying is that what if these people who are actually going out and protesting are actually, this is the process of making peace. Like, because as of right now, like, this is like, are you peaceful? Is anyone in this room peaceful? Like, we're not. Like, we are literally, we're fed up. We're tired. Like, as a community, as a people, we feel like we've just been like completely abused, you know. And so there can't be peace when people are literally like destroyed. You know what I mean? So what if this process is actually the making of peace? I really like that.
Thank you, my brother, my black brother, black man. Okay, so. All right, so going back to like a little bit with Nodi's point, I'm so glad that you brought it up because that's actually where I wanted to go with that. It's like the role of the church and the silenceness of the church. Like, so, you know, I felt like you touched a little bit on what the role of the church is or could be, kind of like, but do you feel like the church is silent? You know, even. Because I go to what I would like to think is a predominantly white church, and I absolutely. It is. It is. I mean, but I strongly believe that the leader of my church really has a heart for injustice. I strongly believe he stands up for what is wrong. He stands up for justice. He's not silent. He's really educated. He's really woke. And not just him, like a lot of the white leaders are on staff. But when I think of the church as a whole, because I don't want to go too much into, like, no, let's go into like church as a whole.
Yeah, I think. I don't want to, like, so I have my answer. So speaking for me, yes. So yeah. Speaking of, I don't think so. I don't think that the church is, like in a general sense, in the American context, because every other context has their own injustices of their own that they're facing. But the response is, I say this because it has come to 2020, where diversity is now, it just made the line of your agenda of like what is going to be preached. As soon as something pop up, it's like, let's talk about diversity, y'all. Like, let's talk about
Black history.
Yeah, or Black History Month, you know? or like, yeah. So I think, yes, and I can agree. Going to a church where it's like, man, this is like amazing, where I understand that like the heart of many leaders in our church agree with like the voice of like justice. When I think about in a grand scheme, a lot of people, it's become a very ambiguous term. A very, very weird, like, why do we consider these things? How do I keep this from being political? Church is not political, quote unquote, like all these things. So the fact that that's present, the fact that we are in today and people are now clicking like, oh my gosh, like, what does Black Lives Matter actually mean? Maybe Jesus is actually saying something in this, when it's like, Jesus has been saying something literally since the Bible. Like, he's like even saying this from the jump, but, yeah, but I don't think it's I don't think the church has been as responsible. Like, as soon as like the shot goes off to run, like the church has been like very slow with.
Let's see how this shapes out. You know, let's just let it play itself out. That's what I get from it.
Yeah. When you look at church history as a whole, the Holocaust,
slave trade, the church has been silent. And it's important that the church look at history and reflect. There's good history, there's bad history. That was a bad history for the church. You also have a lot of denominations here in America, in the United States of America. They wouldn't allow black ministers to be part of their congregation. That's something you have to look back. Okay, like we have to repent. Like we there's something I think we're missing in the gospel. This gospel, if we put in classism in it, there's like a group of people that's higher and another group that's lower. Okay, right there we eliminate the gospel. The church, one of its role, okay, we have to go back and reflect. There's a lot of things we did wrong. And how can we move forward? You know, and that's a question that the church has. Okay, if the last book of the Bible,
Revelation.
Yeah, John sees that. John has this opportunity and sees a glimpse of, okay, this is how it's gonna be. Jesus is showing me how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Before the throne.
Talk about it, yeah.
And in the throne, there's a king. That's it. And before the throne, there's all tribes.
Yeah.
All like people from every nation. But they were all equally before the throne.
Yeah.
Like the white wasn't like on a stool and the black was, and the Chinese was, you know, but no, everyone was before the throne. And I'm like, okay, we have a picture of this is what Jesus is showing us. How can we reflect that? How can your leadership staff reflect that before the throne? How can your organization reflect it? Faith-based, how can it reflect diversity? You know, and if it's uncomfortable, okay, check your heart. Okay, what's going on there? You know, why can't this person be my leader? Why can't this person be my, you know? So, yeah.
I'll say this thought real quick. Just thinking about the church, something that I was kind of processing a little bit was, you have a culturally ignorant, socially ignorant congregation, and you're still giving sermons instead of like teachings, like instead of educating your congregation. Like I'm waiting to the day that I log into a white church service, a predominantly white church service, and they're actually giving history lessons. They're actually calling out injustices. Like a lot, I'm okay with people having privilege, but you gotta understand how you got that privilege. Like, I'm okay with being a person of color, but like,
What does that mean?
yeah, a term I really hate, because when you say person of color, you group my oppression as a black man with another color. We don't have the same.
What's your color?
So, but I don't want to go on a little rabbit hole, but I'm thinking, the consequence to being colored, that's not talked about on Sunday mornings.
I mean, the Israelites, when they forgot their history, so they had to. Exactly.
So I'm waiting, like, if there was a rule or a call that I would say to the church, like, educate your assembly. I'm tired of these little, let's have a conversation about race.
Honestly, I think everybody that emails a church leader and is like, wait, I don't agree with this, be like, hey, look, all right, how about this? We teach you some history and we discuss it. We make a decision from there. If you can't sit in that history lesson, I'm sorry, because you're not considering what we're trying to say. We want you to make a presentation why you feel the way you feel. We'll sit you in a history lesson, and at any point, if you don't agree with one of those like facts from history, explain why.
Yeah.
You know, like I think like we need to have, like you said, teaching. It's not like just
Exactly.
informationals. We need to have places where people can actually ask questions and create their own thoughts on stuff.
And diversity, to add on to that, and diversity, don't tell me it's a topic that you have once a year. Don't tell me it's a part of your fluency. Let it be a part of your DNA. Let it be a part of your mission statement. Like, I'm taught when I am leading something to always state the vision over and over and over again. I got taught that by white leaders, you know, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm saying, my white leaders, white pastors, white friends, educate yourself, you know, and those who have a platform to speak on these topics. I haven't been tuning in on church on online services as much. I'm not bad. I haven't been because I just it's kind of like they're talking about it a little bit.
Yeah, I feel you.
They're just like, well, we gotta cater to. No, this is where we at, and this is what we're trying to get. Educate them, validate the experience of the people that are suffering. Don't give me just a prayer in the beginning and a sermon idea, and then kind of just tied off. No, we need, and even for like my white brothers and sisters, if you're gonna apologize, this is my last comment, y'all. If you're gonna apologize, well, just to me, I believe that there is a difference between repenting and apologizing.
Yeah,
anybody
can apologize. Reconciliation too.
Yeah, and reconciliation. So for you,
if you apologize, but you're not calling your friend, you're not hanging out with your black brother, I'm like, okay, there is a disconnect here because it's just talk right now.
Yeah, and if you're truly sorry, I believe that it comes with an action. Like when you're sorry about something, an action follows through, or a thought of an action follows through. You know, so
because it has to translate into, it has to manifest. It can't only stay here. It can't only stay here. It has to.
Love that.
So you have to apologize and repent and then reconcile. With others.
But a part of it, like, have a plan. I plan on talking to my siblings, my friends, my coworkers. I plan on watching documentaries. I plan on investing more, reading into history more. Like, what is it?
Also, I think repent, it could, you know, it's like a religious word, but to the normal person, like, repent is like, it's gonna,
sorry.
Yeah, no, repent is, okay, I used to go this way, but now I'm making a U-turn, you know? This could make me uncomfortable because it's gonna challenge my paradigm. It's gonna challenge my thoughts. It's gonna challenge everything that I was taught. You know, if I was taught like, hey, this group of people is superior than mine. Okay, now I'm repent. Okay, no, this is a lie. I have to. This is. What's the truth? Oh no. Every human being is made in the likeness of God, and this is gonna make me uncomfortable because I have to step down of my ladder, and not to see everyone equal. This may be challenging for a lot of people.
Wow. Our truths. Well, our truth, no facts. Man, so this was The Cry. Stay locked in.
And the truth shall set you free.
𝐬𝐡𝐚𝐫𝐞.
Et naviguons petit fait après service là.
Les enfants sont blessés. Après musique, tu vas 𝐬𝐻𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤
Maestro
Maestro
Jacques l'église là. J'ai pâté à soda derrière.
And we out.
Les enfants sont blessés.